All right. Testing one, two, one, two. I hope that's working. That's crazy. I started a whole live stream and then my mic was giving me issues. So I had to jump on and jump off. It got kind of crazy. In today's video, we're going to talk about breaking generational curses, how to get rid of generational curses. What are generational curses? I'm pretty sure most people know what a generational curse is. So we're going to just talk a little bit about it. But before I dive in, I just wanted to tell y'all that I'm old as hell. Your boy getting old is I guess it's something that's inevitable, is bound to happen at some point in time, sooner or later. But like God bless people who are like my age or older who got like 1 year olds. Cause I don't know how the hell y'all do it. It's crazy. I'll tell y'all, I was at the beach all day. Went to a water park, me and my daughter in a water park playing, having fun. I played for maybe about 3 hours, and I felt like I was in a boxing match for like 36 rounds. Like I'm tired, I'm sore, like I'm ashy. It's just kind of ridiculous, but we're going to go ahead and dive into this video. Now, again, generational curses. I think everybody knows what a generational curse is, but if you don't, in short, the easiest definition for a generational curse is some type of repetitive behavior that occurs throughout your family for various generations. It could be generational curse related to finance. It could be Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, brother. It could be a generational curse related to finance. It could be a generational curse related to marriages. It could be a generational curse related to absentee fathers. I mean, generational curses come in all shapes or forms. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the best way to break generational curses related to finances and being broke. And honestly, it's probably good advice that you can use just in general when you're dealing with any generational curse. And I got an interesting story that I want to tell y'all about. It's actually a historical fact, which I was completely unaware of, but I'm not really a U.S. history buff. I'm more of a world history, ancient Egyptian, Roman, Africa. That's all my type of history that I like. But anyway, one of the main things that we got to realize is when it comes to generational curses is mindset. I tell y'all a generational curse that I know is prevalent in my family. Like in my family, like if we want to count the percentage of, I mean, I guess in the entire, United States, like the divorce rate is 50%, but there are very few married couples who just like are married indefinitely. They pass away married in my family. When you get to my family generally, you're going to get a good, strong 15 years of marriage. After that, everybody chunking up the deuce. So I tell you, that was one of the generational curses that I kind of identified early on. And I was like, man, I definitely don't want that to happen. I want to have a tight family structure. I want, mom, dad, kids all in the same household, conventional idea of marriage. That was just one of the generational curses that I identified in my family, and I wanted to make an effort to change. And the other one is finances. And I think I told this story a multitude of times before, but I literally just told my wife the other day, I honestly cannot remember the any time where growing up we had a conversation about money. I literally can't remember one time where me, my parents, my brother, where they sat down and had a conversation with us about money. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I still don't think I have any conversations like that. It's just something that wasn't a thing that was done. So I think the first step when you're talking about any generational curses, finance, whatever the hell curse you want to throw out there, the first step is actually identifying that this is a generational curse, actually identifying that this is something that happens over and over and over, one, two, three, four, three generations down. There were bad relationships with our father. So I was like, damn, I definitely don't want to do that. And that was another one that I noticed. Like I know my father and his dad, they really like my dad didn't meet his father till he was probably 35, 40 years old. And when I saw that, I thought to myself, I was like, hell no. like I saw that. I couldn't imagine that meeting my pops until I was like 40 years old. It just would have been ridiculous for me to. I can't even fathom that. So the first step is you got to actually identify what a generational curse is. The second step is, and this is probably a harder step. I'm not even going to really kind of number it, but the second thing that you're probably going to have to do, and this is really difficult. A lot of people, if you identify generational curse, a lot of times you probably won't have this conversation until you're an adult because it's a tough conversation to have as a child. We got to be realistic, but you're going to have some type of conversation with your parents, with other people, older people in your family, to kind of get some historical context of what happened, what caused this. Tell me how the relationship was with your father. Like none of my grandfathers I literally met when I was a baby, so I don't know them. So the only way that I could find out how my father and mother relationship was with their parents is by me talking to them. And so that's another thing you have to do. You're going to actually have to kind of get out there, talk about just kind of what was done historically, get some questions. You'll never really know how your family acts as a family unit, what your family's beliefs and fundamental ideologies are if you don't go out there and actually talk to your family. So that's one thing that we got to do. A lot of times, and I'm not going to lie, because I kind of did this. I kind of got to the stage where I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I need to do, focus on myself, and not really worry about anything else. But then, and I'm going to tell you one thing, as Black people, therapy is great. A lot of times we don't I don't know. This is how therapy was when I was younger. Generally, I think what Black people do is if they have something dealing with them, they keep it inside and don't talk to nobody about it until it turns into a real health problem. And then they actually have to go see an actual doctor because it's whatever issue they were holding in, wasn't talking about, manifested into something physically. So it took me until I was older and, sitting down, talking with a therapist to kind of realize that, you know what? Things that I did identify as generational curses, I didn't even take the time to find out how those things happen. I just kind of compartmentalized it and said, you know what? I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to do what I need to do. Hey, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you doing, yeah. Yeah, and I agree. That is a difficult thing to do, to go your own way. And not everybody can do it. Everybody's situation is different. I know for me personally, one of the main reasons why I went into the military, I never been like, oh man, I want to go to the army and be all I can be with Uncle Sam pointing at me in a little brochure. Nah, I never wanted to do that. But one thing I realized is I kind of knew what I saw in my neighborhood around me. I kind of peeped game real early. I had older cousins and siblings that kind of went down a certain path. So in my mind, I was like, man, I got to do whatever the hell I need to do to get out of here, to figure out how to do something different. So the first step was I was like, all right, I got it. To do something different and get away, let me go to college. But I didn't go to college crazy far. I went to college like 45 minutes away, an hour away. It was still a little, a neighborhood things that could kind of have a chance to sweep you in. So after about 2 years of undergrad, I was like, you know what? I need to get the hell out of here. I'm going to go be all I can be. I'm going to go live overseas. I'm going to go see the world. And that was kind of one of the things that I did. And, that was kind of my way of saying, let me get away to avoid this situation that I see could potentially befall me, to hopefully do something different. So that is something difficult to do, to just kind of go out, isolate yourself on your own. A lot of people deal with their problems like that. The best route is always to talk to somebody. But, that's just kind of one of those things where you kind of got to feel your way through. And hopefully, when you do talk to somebody, you can kind of get some good guidance. But, so that's first things first. You got to identify what a generational curse is. You got to kind of try to establish and get some information on, why does this particular thing keep happening? Why are we 3-4 generations deep in poverty? Why was my mother and her mom all on welfare? These is really questions you have to answer to kind of get to the real underlying issues. And so, and unfortunately, I don't have the answers in how to really deal with that, because everyone is going to deal with it the best way that they know how. But I do know that in dealing with it and getting answers, the best way is one of the things that'll help is some line of open communication. You know what I mean? And this is coming from somebody who, you know, hey, what's going on, Britt? Thanks for tuning in. This is coming from somebody like literally I actually give my wife credit for this because as a grown man in my young 20s, I used to refer to my father like by his first name because that was just the type of relationship we had. It literally wasn't until I met my wife. We were dating at the time, and somehow we was having a conversation about fathers, and I was talking to her about my relationship with my father, and she said it in a real condescending way, but it was kind of the slap I needed. She was like, dude, you only got one dad. Why you worried about stuff that was old? Your parents do the best they could do. And I thought about it. I was like, damn, smart ass, she right. So I really credit her for me even, reaching out to identify that. I didn't know at that point, like my father never who knew who his father was. But because of that conversation I had with her, I reached out to my pops, and now me and my pops got a cool relationship, dope relationship. Yeah, he's still crazy as hell, but I love him. But there's a relationship where, hey, there's love, mutual respect there, all of that good stuff. Um, it it did. I'll tell you, I didn't. I didn't really. Even when I was in the military in my early 20s, I was kind of used to what the norm was. Get it, go out and spend it. I stashed some money away. I had some money in savings, but I really didn't wrap my mind around the concept of saving, investing, putting myself in a position to do something different than everybody in my family. I'm gonna be honest, that probably didn't hit me till I was maybe about 25 years old. It wasn't until I got to law school. Because, I mean, let's think about it. I got to law school. I was a little bit older than everybody else because I did 4 years in the military. And it wasn't until I got to law school and I started meeting like people who actually practice law, seeing how they live, going to visit my mentor, who was a judge at the time, went to visit his house and actually like seeing how he was living. And I was like, damn. I said the whole concept I have of what I thought a rich person was or a wealthy person was completely blown out of the water. So it took me, later on till I was maybe 20 or 25 to kind of really get that knowledge of, man, if I do something different, I could get something different from what I was used to seeing. Hey, good morning, good morning. Oh, this is my homie from down under who always gives me the most insightful, thoughtful, detailed comments on all of my videos. I always reply to her comments last because I be having to think about that shit. That's crazy. But it's just kind of one of those things. From a finance standpoint, when we talking about generational curses, I think another thing that I noticed and I had to kind of change my mindset of was I had to stop focusing on what I didn't have and start focusing on how I could get what I want the right way. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing, like, I mean, let's keep it real. From a financial standpoint, you can get what you want financially. If I wanted a Lexus or a Benz, I could go out and get a Lexus or a Benz. It would actually be nothing to do it. But how to do it the right way. You got kids, you're setting the example. So I think a lot of times I kind of had adopted a mindset of what I didn't have. Man, I don't have this, I don't have that. And then when I had that mindset shift, when I saw how other people who were building real wealth were doing it, one thing that I decided to do was ask them how to do it because I couldn't get that information from nobody in my family. Like, I think I had one aunt who is probably like, yeah, she worth a lot of M's, but she was far away. We didn't kind of have that relationship. So a lot of the financial knowledge I got, and a lot of times the people who be willing to give you the knowledge is people who are outside of your circle, people outside of your family, people outside of your friend group. And when people got something or did something positive or productive, they love to talk about it. They love to talk about the steps they took to get where they are in life. So you'll be amazed at how many people have dropped jewels. So I actually stopped thinking about what I didn't have, and I kind of started focusing on long-term goals. And I think the other thing, when you talk about those things that you want in life, it understanding that concept of I can't get it now. I'll have to get it later. Like, actually, I don't know if I ever told this story online, but some I clerked for a judge, and I remember having a conversation with my brother. I was like, "Oh, I got to go downtown. I'm working with this judge," and he was like, "I hope it's not Judge X, Y, and Z." And I was like, "Why'd you say that?" He's like, "Oh man, because that dude, he mean as hell. That's the dude who sentenced me when I had to go do my time." And unbeknownst, it was the same judge. Like, I worked for the same judge, got information from the same judge on how to be a professional in the field, how to actually conduct yourself as an individual, as a man. The same judge who gave me those lessons, unbeknownst to me, was the same judge who sentenced my brother years before. So I mean, one is a small world, but you got to think outside of the box. You got to be able to change your mind. You can't change anything if you can't change your mind. If you can't change your mind about a belief you have, about a system. And honestly, for me, a big part of it was, you know what? I was just kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired, man. I was tired of, always kind of juggling things, not having enough, seeing my mom's not have enough. And I was like, man, I got to figure out some way to kind of do things different. So once I changed my mindset, that was another step that kind of helped me get over that hurdle. Yeah, yeah. An attorney is one of those unique positions because, I'll tell you this, when you're an attorney, everyone imputes income on you. Like, the minute I passed the bar and got my first job as a public defender, making like nothing. Everybody thought I was a baller because they were like, "Oh, you're an attorney," and I was like, "Man, you crazy? I made way more before I went to law school than what I made the first 3 or 4 years as a practicing attorney with clients having jury trials every day." So it's one of those tough positions, and not all attorneys are doing well. You meet some guys who get 180, $190,000 jobs out of law school. Those are few and far between. I tell you, the vast majority of attorneys who went to my school is known for public service. They got judges, they got public defenders, they got a large portion of attorneys who are solo practitioners who start their own practice. So, I actually was going to do a video on why I think school is a scam. I'm gonna probably say that for next week, but it is interesting. It's tough, no matter what your job title is, your success in that field depends on your skill set, your relationships, a little bit of luck, a lot of prayer. It depends on a lot of things. Because I actually posted a video where I talked about why you should go to law school. And if you actually go through the comments, it was a guy who chimed in like, "Oh, you talking about all the great stuff about law school." And after I went through all them comments, I was like, God damn, that brother hate his job. So you do have some people like that. I tell you, for me, I don't really I don't really, no matter what job I did, even when I was at a job when I was underpaid, I knew that I knew I was underemployed. I knew not making less than $40,000 with a wife and 2 kids was tough. But I knew that it's something I got to get from this job to prepare me for my next step where I can go. And what it was in that job was, it wasn't the pay, it was the trial experience. A lot of attorneys, they go 3, 4, 5 years not having a trial. I had 2 trials my third day on the job. I had so many trials. I mean, clients who wouldn't come see me, I would just be like, "No, you didn't set an appointment. You're not about to back my schedule up. Tell me what happened." I get it from them. "Come on, let's go to trial." We do it in and out, get the information in the hallway, go to trial, not guilty, get up out of there. So, it was it's one of those things where it varies, but even when you're in a job where you know that you can be in a better position, it's something that job is giving you that you got to get to prepare you for where you wanted to be. And I knew off the break, it was this trial experience. I knew in 3 years when I applied for a job, it ain't nobody going to be out there who can say they got more trial experience than me. It ain't going to be nobody out there who can say they had more jury trials than me. It's just, so that was kind of my take on that. Yeah, it's all about seeing things in a different perspective, and I'm gonna tell you, when you start seeing things in a different perspective, especially if it's like a something that just generationally your family, your friends, everybody used to seeing, everybody gonna look at you like you a damn fool. Everybody gonna look at you like you crazy. Everybody gonna think you crazy. Like, I just told this story. I made this comment on a live that I was looking at earlier today. And I was like, man, I can remember when I told, people in my family, like, I think I want to go to law school, and motherfuckers laughed. I was like, damn, I mean, I like to joke around, but I don't think I'm a stupid guy. But nah, I remember when I made that comment, people laughed at me. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn. So, when you start to have that different mindset that's different from what you're used to being around, just be ready to be the outsider. Even right now, like to this day, you'll be amazed at how many of my family members, friends, they like, the running joke is that I'm cheap. They're like, oh, you cheap. You don't like to do nothing. You don't like to go nowhere. Like, no, I'm not cheap. But don't ask, if you ask me to do something and I don't have 2 weeks notice, and or you ask me to do something that's expensive and I didn't have time to budget for it, get the hell out of here. I'm not going. But once you start thinking different, be prepared to be treated as an outsider, because everybody's not going to be there. You can have conversations about something with people. It even got to a point now where I don't even really talk to finances with a lot of people, because I know some people are stuck in a vacuum and are reluctant to change. So those type of people, I mean, it took me a while to realize. I used to be like preachy, like, oh man, if you do A, B, and C, now I don't care. Somebody come to me like, man, I'm thinking about I think I'm about to get this and do that and get a loan or take a second mortgage out on my house. This is literally my comment. I'd be like, okay, well, if do you think that's the best option? Do what you need to do, man. Best of luck to you. Because everybody don't want to hear your ideologies. Everybody don't want to hear your view, no matter how bad their idea is. As long as you thought everything through, brother, make the best move you can make. So, but once you start thinking different, you are going to be the outcast. So go ahead and get used to that. I wanted to share this story, and I don't know if y'all ever heard this story, but I think another thing is thinking big picture. A lot of times we focus on, a lot of people live for the weekend, live for the next month, and people don't really have long-term vision where they think like, okay, 5 years down the road, I want to do this. 10 years, I want to be here. 15 years, I want to be here. So this is an interesting story. And this is a story, again, a historical story that I literally had no clue about. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. Now, I'm going to read this. I like to call it trap reading, where I'm going to go through and read some parts, and then other parts I'm going to skip. So in spring of 1789, Benjamin Franklin was in his 80s, essentially. He didn't have a long time to live, tormented by gout, eczema, kidney stones, boils, and a host of other afflictions. Damn, he was doing bad. Boils? That's some biblical stuff. All right. He said, little remains of me, but a skeleton covered with skin. As he lay in his bed, on good days when it was warm, blah, 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 blah. We're going to go skip all the way down. Here's where it gets interesting. Let's drop down to paragraph 2. Franklin drafted a will dated July 17, 1788, making a generous disposition for family and others, including his son William, who he thought had betrayed him and America by remaining loyal to the British crown. Now he amended the will with a codicil executed on June 3rd, 1789, which was the final expression of his belief that culture was formed on the development of personal character. And one of the grandest expressions of benevolence in American history, I fucked that word up, pardon me, benevolence. Franklin combined his goal to promote his civic virtue and his fascination with the power of compounding interest to make even small sums of money grow by creating 2 carefully structured philanthropic trusts designed to last exactly 200 years. He made separate bequests of £1,000, the equivalent of roughly $100,000 in 2008 dollars. This is where I found this article. He made one donation to the city of Boston and one to Philadelphia, and instructed that the money be used to make small loans at 5% interest per annual to married men under 25 who had completed apprenticeships and wanted to start their own business. He also estimated how the trust funds would grow over the 200-year period and specified that the additional money be used for municipal improvements such as fortifications, bridges, aqueducts, blah, 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 blah. Now, already when I was reading that, I was like, damn, that's kind of smart. This dude, now it's funny because the reason I say that is because, what I'm talking about is when you want to change your financial position, when you want to change anything that's a general curse, you want to break it, you got to think about what you got to do now to make that change. But you also got to think of, if I do these steps to implement this change, to change this behavior financially, to change this relationship with my spouse, to change this relationship with my kids, I'm doing these steps today. Where do I want this to have me 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? So let's take a look at how he planned this, which I think is unique. It shows looking at the big picture, but it also shows how fucking petty family could be. Let's go ahead and go down and finish reading this. All right, we'll skip all that. Let me see where the. Okay, and here's a good place to pick up. After Franklin died at age 84 on April 17, 1790, his codicil set in motion the process, even a seamlessly ending chain of corrupt municipal officials and special interests have never been quite able to destroy. In the first 100 years, hundreds of young entrepreneurs. This is crazy. In the first 100 years, hundreds of young entrepreneurs in each of the two cities got to start with small loans from his bequeath. Recipients received essentially seed money, including carpenters, bakers, shoemakers, tailors, painters, cabinet makers, blah, 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 blah. Just as Franklin had anticipated, and one individual, Liberty Brown, a Philadelphia silversmith who received a $319 loan in 1800s, was elected president of the Select Council of the city of Philadelphia in 1813. Charles Wells, a bricklayer who received a $100 loan in 1808, was elected mayor of Boston in 1813. So he donated this money. He said he essentially put it in a trust. They say will, but he essentially put it what we would call today as a trust. He set it up where, hey, this trust, we're going to give out loans at this low interest rate that people could pay back. This money is going to grow. Now watch how interesting it get, and watch how shady family is. And I was like, damn, this dude had the foresight to see how to put this money to use. And he had the foresight to put this money to use the proper way so greedy ass family members couldn't get it. It's actually genius. All right. Let's see. Let me see where's the best one. All right. Improvements. Okay. The trust in Philadelphia contained roughly $2.8 million in $2008. So that deposit of essentially $100,000 he made in 2008, it was worth $2.8 million. And the trust in Boston has swelled to $10.1 million, and that was in 2008. And it said Franklin has stipulated in his will that after 100 years, city leaders should reassess how additional income generated by the trust funds could be utilized for public works projects. But before they could move ahead, here's where the shadiness come in. The people, like when you do something different and think different, people are going to look at you crazy, even your own family members. Franklin blood heirs looked at the two pots of money and were stricken with greed. Really? Who could have saw that coming? Who could have saw that coming? All right. So on September 30th, 1890, Albert D. Bach, a U.S. Navy paymaster and one of four great-grandchildren of Franklin's only daughter, Sally, filed a legal petition in Philadelphia on behalf of the heirs, arguing that the money was rightfully theirs. The crux of their position was that there was no basis in English common law for a trust of that sort that he created. On October 9, the heirs presented a similar petition in Boston. So this dude helped get people elected, helped people start businesses, helped provide money to build the infrastructure of the city. He probably knew and had the foresight to see that his family members could potentially not be shit. I mean, this is genius, and it's quite hilarious. 6 months later, Judge Biddy Penrose dismissed the heirs' Philadelphia position. Decision was appealed, and it took 3 years before it was finally settled. Judge J. Arnold of the Philadelphia County Court ultimately ruled that the fact that a charity is a perpetuity is no objection to it. A charity may be created either in perpetuity or for a term of years. The Boston position was also dismissed. Franklin had prevailed against his adversarious descendants. That story, to me, is hilarious. That story to me is hilarious because it showed that he had a long-term view of what he wanted that money to do based on his actions that he did in his 80s. He's like, I ain't gonna be around forever. I got gout and all sorts of biblical diseases, but he mandated in his trust to make his money do what he wanted his money to do. The reason I brought up that story is, because hey, if you want to change it, this video could literally have been 3 minutes long. Hey, if you want to break generational curses related to being broke, get off your ass, hustle, save. But I wanted to point out that story because I thought that story was unique, as in you have to have a legacy mindset. You have to think beyond you and your family members. One of the most interesting verses in the Bible is a Bible verse that my father always quoted to me. He was like, "Hey, when I pass away, I'm gonna do exactly what it said in the Bible. I ain't leaving y'all nothing. It says in the Bible, leave everything to your children's children. So I'm gonna leave everything to my grandkids." But as funny as that sound, that's a good point. He's not thinking for his generation and my generation. He's thinking down the road. So I'm gonna leave everything I got to my grandkids. And let's think about it. I mean, just him saying that, it actually benefits me by proxy. If, Lord forbid, knock on wood, when this is my father grouchy, so he's gonna live to be like 105. But when it's my father's time to pass and he leaves whatever he wants to leave to his grandkids, that kind of eases any financial burden that I may have. Not that I'm still not going to do things to put them in position. And so you have to have that long-term vision when you want to break a generational curse regard to being broke, regarding getting your finances in order. You got to think past you. You got to think past your children. You got to think, how could the decisions and the moves that I make with money today impact my children's children? Like, I don't know about y'all, but for me, I want my picture to be over a fireplace with a cigar in my mouth and a monocle. I'm gonna put a monocle in. I'm gonna have a cigar and a monocle, and I want to be just sitting in a picture over the fireplace so that my great great grandkids can look and say, "Oh, that was great, Papa Marcus over there. He was an attorney," and that's kind of how I want a vision of. I want my impact to go so far when people look at that picture, that guy who's, I'm gonna make myself look crusty in the picture, but that cigar I don't even smoke, and a monocle, they're gonna say, "Oh man, that dude put things into motion to kind of help our family be in the position where we are today." You didn't take a vacation? Yeah, hey, who are you telling? Vacations. I know women in vacations. Y'all love y'all vacations. But yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do because you got a bigger picture. I'll tell you, it's funny because in the last video I did, I was actually talking about an electric car. And I was like, you know what? I want an electric car. But this is literally how I thought about doing it. Because like I said, if you get an electric car, where I'm at right now, you probably want to lease it, because who wants a 10-year-old electric car? That's like having a 10-year-old cell phone. And once your warranty is up, man, that shit gonna be so expensive to fix. So if I get an electric car, it's probably gonna be new, and I'm probably gonna lease it because I don't want it if it's not under warranty. I'm not paying for anything, or it's gonna cost too much. And so this is literally how I thought. When me and my wife sat down and had the conversation, I was like, well, if we get this car, if we lease it, is gonna cost us about $550 a month. I'm not paying $550 out of money that I use my skill and talent to make. So my thought was, what can I do, or what can I invest my money in to generate $550 a month that will cover the cost of the car that I want? That's kind of how my mindset works. So that was a smart move on your side, Britt, to make those sacrifices so you can get what you want. So that's kind of how I think. If I want to buy something, I don't think, oh man, well, when I get paid, I can go and get this. My thought is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can invest in with my stash money that I got to generate income so I can get what I want, so that income can pay for it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I, I don't know if I ever had a job that I actually hated. I had people I work with. I don't know. Well, I'm a different type of individual. So I tell you, Twan, I'm a different type of individual. Like, and it's probably because I'm a guy. It's probably because I'm a little. jaded from my time in the military and how I grew up, but I'm not gonna be at no job and nobody gonna stress me out. If anything, I'm gonna stress you out. Like I seen people who work in like they have these contentious things at jobs and arguments, and I'm not doing all that. Like, nah, everybody, we all gonna talk with each other. We all gonna talk with respect. Because I literally never had a job that I hated. Like I tell people all the time, the easiest job that I had was in the military. Being in the military is the easiest job a person could ever have. All you got to do is show up on time in the right uniform and do what you're told. You don't got to really burn any excess brain power to think outside the box. There's a process, follow the process, show up on time, be in the right uniform with the right equipment. It's just so simple. But I never really had a job that was like a terrible job. I had a job where it was some people who worked at the job who was crazy, but I don't know. My view is that I don't know. I just don't let stuff get to me. Is my paycheck accurate? Yeah. Are my leave days correct? Yeah. Outside of that, is nothing on a job. And I mean, I worked at jobs, but everything is at the end of the day, I'm going home to my family. There's nothing that can happen at work that's going to stress me out to the point where I'm like, oh man, this is so. I don't know if y'all seen the video. I should see if I could pull it up where it was a grown ass man who was outside of his job and was sitting in the car crying. I don't know if y'all seen that video, but grown ass brother sitting outside his car and he was like, man, he was just like, who knew it was going to be this hard? I don't want to go back in there. I'm telling you, dealing with these people is just stressed. And why is it so hard for us just to live financially? And it was sad to see a grown ass man cry like that. Like, one, I felt sorry for the dude. Two, hey, don't cry like that on live. You're gonna just look a little goofy. You gotta, don't. I don't know where you at your job, but when people are like snakes, when they see you limping and see you weak, that's when they're gonna strike. So it's just kind of one of those things. But yeah, I felt sorry for that dude. But that's the stress that people deal with at their work. I always try to realize that whatever I'm going through, whatever you're going through at a job, the purpose of that is to prepare you for where you need to go. So even if I had a job where it was kind of crazy, didn't really trip me out too much, but I had jobs where it was kind of crazy, but it just put me in a better position. Because when I went to the next place, I was like, oh man, this is light. At the place I came from, they was crazy as hell. So it kind of just put me in a position, better position for where I needed to be in the future. That's kind of the outlook I take on it. I would never do a video on why to go to school, graduate school for psychology, or why go to academia, because both were, yeah. Hey, that's fair. I literally was going to do a video on, I think I came to a conclusion that college is a scam. Like, I don't want to get too much into it, but my general conclusion is college is a scam. That's going to be the video title. College is a scam. Prove me wrong. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because the path of the unknown, nobody went down there. Everybody in life, most people want to go through the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance for anything is the path that most people want to choose. Like, man, the road to just being okay in life and being mediocre is an easy road. I'm familiar with it. I've seen people travel this road before. I could get experience on how to travel this road. Damn, the road to success and being a first generation millionaire and changing my family tree and starting a business, man, there's a lot of shrubs and weeds and shit down that road. I don't want to go down there. I'm going to get scratched up by the thorns. But that's kind of how it is. Most people are going to choose to go down that easy path because they don't want to deal with the unknown. They don't want to deal with the drama. But, I know most of the people in here watching, y'all are the people who think different. If you kind of I always say, if you're kind of the oddball in your family, you think a little bit different than everybody else. People think you're the weird person. Congratulations, because you're the person who's probably going to break a lot of generational curses in your family. Hey. I actually thought about changing this shirt, right? Why you had to call me out like that, bro? Come on now. Like, okay, like damn, bro, gonna call me out on my shirt, man. All right. Okay, first thing first. Let's go. First things first, okay? I can't guarantee the authenticity of this shirt. That's point number one. Point number two, this shirt was gifted to me. I thought about it. I looked, I was like, I should probably change this shirt. But I will tell you, when it comes to buying luxury stuff, I think I qualify for the rule to buy a luxury item. Like my general rule is, if you make less than $70,000 a year, you probably shouldn't be buying any luxury items. But this was a gift. I can't. I'll tell you right now, if I was walking and somebody came up to me and put a gun out, was like, "Give me the Gucci shirt," I'd be like, "Here you go, bruh." I don't know if you can carry that back, but that's funny. Wow, wow, that's crazy. But I mean, sometimes the most hurtful things to the things we want to accomplish in our life gonna come from the people we love the most and the people closest to us. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. And I tell you, I guess I'll tell you, when I said I wanted to go to law school, when I said I wanted to do this, like I can remember, like I said something about politician, and one of my family was like, "Don't nobody know who you are?" And I was like now I just kind of look back on it and like, come on, I've sat in meetings and led meetings with presidential appointees, like the head of the Department of Justice by the U.S. president, who's appointed by the U.S. president, like so I mean, the best thing is, like I always say, is Kanye worse. Kanye worse because he's the worst sometimes. But Kanye's West verse, and I can't even think of the song, but the verse is, and I think I said it before. He said, "Now I can let these dream killers kill my self-esteem or use my arrogance as my steam to power my dream." That verse. When I heard that verse, that shit resonated with me because I tell you, like the best way to guarantee that I'm going to do something is tell me something counter to that. Tell me I couldn't do it, or you didn't think I would do it, or something like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, big ups, props. That's good. Yeah, you gotta be prepared. And then it's projection too. A lot of people project the things that they can't do and their fears and their insecurities on you. Like, oh, you can't ever go to law school. Oh, I knew you would never go to school. That I mean, some people say those things because they may have insecurities. Like, you want to start a business? Why you can't start no business? And they say that because they can't start no business. The only business they got is they can't even mind their business. So a lot of that times when you hear those negative things about things you want to do in life, it's just projection. Like, and they don't when they project that don't necessarily mean they don't love you. I think it's a clip with Jay-Z was saying that he had an uncle who was like, "Rap, you'll never sell, you'll never sell a million albums." And he was like, "I sold a million albums a million times." You know what I mean? But he was like, I knew my uncle loved me, but he projected his fears and what his insecurities because what he couldn't do, and he tried to project it on me. So kudos to you for being strong to get through that. That was dope. Yeah, but you use that as motivation. Yeah. Hey, you did what you needed to do. So whatever was said to you in that moment lit a fire under your ass. It's like it's like it's like popcorn. You put popcorn in a damn microwave and don't cut it on, it ain't gonna do shit. It's not until you apply some heat underneath it. Once some heat get underneath it, you jump up, gotta get out, go do something. And that's kind of how we are. The people who are the most successful, when they have difficulties, when they have doubt, that lights a fire under them to get up off their ass and make something happen. And part of it is, I tell you, me, I love proving people wrong. Like, please tell me what I can't do. Because the best thing for me is to prove someone wrong by doing something that they didn't think I could do. And then once I do it, just shut the hell up and be humble about it and just go about life. Because the same people who made that comment to you, they see you. The same people who say you'll never have a bunch of rental properties, you'll never go to school, you'll never do this, you'll never do that. The same people who said that, once you accomplish that shit, they going don't say, you don't gotta say nothing to it, you don't gotta post it, because they gonna see you, they gonna be from afar looking like, damn. That's how haters look when they see you in the distance succeed, and they be like, look at them over there. So yeah, you definitely winning. You definitely winning. Oh damn, that's good. Damn, condolences. That's tough. That's tough. And I can't even imagine. At that young age, I'm blessed to be old as I am. I ain't gonna tell y'all how old I am, but I'm a geezer. But yeah, that's you always gotta think of that blessing and say y'all thought that was finished, right? Yeah, that's how you gotta do. Sometimes the most hurtful thing is what God put to ignite you to do what the hell you need to do. So yeah. Charitable trust. Yeah. I was just telling my wife that's what I think I want to do. Like, because you can even put when you're thinking longevity and breaking generational curses, like I can put my insurance policy, I can put my life insurance policy into a trust. So let's say for example, I got a $1 million life insurance policy. I could put that into a trust. When I pass away, I can mandate that my son will get $40,000 a year indefinitely. $40,000 a year ain't shit, pardon my language, to $1 million that's in the market making 8% interest. That money will still grow. You're not even burning off all the interest. Think how if you got $40,000 indefinitely into the day you passed away, how that would change your life, how that would change your financial position. So there's definitely a lot of trust out there. It's definitely a lot of different trust you can get out there to change how things are done. I was just talking to my wife about that because a will is cool, but when you got a trust, you avoid a lot of taxation. There's when you a lot of taxes that can hit you up if you leave something in the will, and if you don't got a will, everybody has a will. The question is it a will you wrote or is it the will that the state gave you? Because the state has a plan, for your money and assets if you don't have a will. So definitely have a will out there. Definitely have a will. Got to get one. Coworkers hate to see you happy, man. Like I ain't gonna lie to you. I had one coworker who was like so crazy. They would just like, I don't know. Have y'all ever heard of this? It was the craziest shit I ever seen in my life. Like they would file anonymous complaints about other people at the job. Like, oh, this person left work early, or this person did this or that. I used to just be like, you got to be kidding. Why don't you go? Never mind. I can't say what I was about to say, but I was like, don't you got a significant other at home or something? You're just crazy. Go be productive. But there's some people out there who just kind of toxic like that. You know what I mean? Damn, he ripped it out. Damn, yeah, that's old school. We'd have been in that joint. We'd have been in that joint wrestling like shit. That's crazy. I showed up to formation once with earrings. I remember this was back in my young days when I could go out, party and drink and club, and then get up in the morning and run like 6 miles. And I showed up and my uniform was on backwards. I had earrings. I'll never forget. Hey, shout out to Son Lou. Son Lou was like, God damn it, what's wrong with you? You look a mess. He was like, fall out of formation and just go home. I had earrings in and diamonds and showing my Allen Iverson blinged up. I was all jacked up. So that sounded like he had one of those situations. If he ripped the dead brother's nose ring out, that's cold blooded. 6'7" command song. That's 6'7". I'm gonna tell you, Era, like he ripped my nose ring out. He's 6'7", and I probably would have got my ass whipped, but we'd have been in that joint fighting. I ain't gonna lie, I low key like fighting people bigger than me. That was one of the things. All right, this is a unrelated story. We just get back from Iraq. And, I can remember, like, we came back in two waves. Half of the group of people came home first, then the second half. So I was in that second wave. And I don't know, y'all probably not as old as I am to remember a drink called Incredible Hulk Hypnotic Hennessy, and it would, like, glow green. That was, like, the song, the drink all the rappers was talking about. So I remember telling all my boys who was back, I was like, yo, when I get back, as soon as I get off, while I'm still in uniform, I want some Incredible Hulk. We're going to go out to the club. It's going to be crazy. Now, in those days, you really go to the club for two things, women and to whip some ass. So, like, it's just kind of those things. And it was so funny because I never forget, I can't remember where we was at. This was somewhere overseas. And these bouncers were the biggest. I mean, these dudes was like 6'5", 280, all muscle. And once one person get in the fight, we all fighting. It was funny. We in that joint. As soon as the fight break out, the whole dance floor clear out. So I'm in the middle of the dance floor with this big ass dude who like 6'5", 285. I look over, my homeboy is in a headlock. One of the bouncers got him in a headlock. Long story short, I actually didn't get my ass whipped in that situation. It was quite eventful. I look like this, but I'm not stupid. If I'm fighting somebody 6'7", I'm grateful that the dance floor and all the people dispersed because I have a lot of space to operate. So it made it very easy for me to be able to pick this dude apart. Not to mention I boxed for probably about 6 years and, was damn near golden glove. So I know my way around the hands, but yeah, 6'7", you snatch my nose. I don't know if you snatch my nose ring out, all the blood. That's a good question. I don't know. Now you got me thinking, damn it. Now you got me thinking. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Haters at the bank. You don't see haters at the bank. Oh, you do see haters at the bank, but they probably applying for a second mortgage or something crazy that, us people who want to become millionaires probably would frown upon. Yeah. I mean, the military is just different now. Like, yeah, like, I don't know, the military different now. Like they let guys have beards in the military. When I was going on, you couldn't have a beard. You couldn't have a. I remember when I was in basic, they would cut everybody head off, and y'all don't know this, but underneath here, I got the scalp of like a 360-pound man. It looked like a road map. Like it literally looked like a brain. I don't know why it used to not look like that, but I guess after years of having long hair and cornrows and braids and all that damn squeezing. But yeah, yeah, the military has changed. You used to have a bald head. I remember I paid the barber $10 because I was like, cut me low, keep my waves on. Man, I came out of that barbershop. The drill sergeant was like, God damn it, Private. God damn it, Private. Who told you to get your hair cut like that? Go back in there, get in that chair. Man, yeah, but I definitely didn't want that. It would result in something terrible now. Hey, everybody saying hi. But yeah, um, I guess the easiest thing to say is, generational curses and breaking them is really just kind of a mindset. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, that was the early 90s. Yeah, that was the day back when you could give a soldier wall to wall counseling. Are you familiar with the phrase wall to wall counseling? Y'all ever used that? We used to give soldiers wall to wall counseling. So, like, if a soldier did something stupid, late for formation, failed his PT test, you have to give him a counseling statement. That's like the first step in a disciplinary action. You give a couple of counselor statements, then maybe you can upgrade to company level Article 15. But this it's kind of like going through the sanctions you would give an employee. But wall-to-wall counseling was where you didn't write up an official counseling statement. You would just go in there and grab the soldier and you would slam them on one wall, then slam them on the other wall, then slam them on the other wall until you got your point across. That was called wall-to-wall counseling. Debt-free Dad not saying that he did that. That was a method that was used during his time in the military, but the Debt-free Dad is not saying that he gave any of his soldiers wall-to-wall counseling. Yeah, military law is wild. It's funny because I was actually just on a show and uh, we were talking about crimes, and a lot of people don't know this, but you commit a crime, you can be charged as a civilian, and then the Uniform Code of Military Justice, then the military guys will come right back behind and charge you. So that's really crazy. But I guess the takeaway, I guess, just to kind of wrap this thing up is generational curses can be broken. You just got to think different and do something different. A lot of times, once you start going down that road of doing something that your family's not used to, your peer circle is not used to, you're going to be the outcast. But you just got to remember that there's a bigger picture involved. It's kind of how I divide friends. Like, I don't know if y'all do this, but you can't always mix friend groups. I learned this the hard way. I was in law school and one of my homeboys was working in DC for the summer. So I was like, oh man, that's what's up. We're going to go out, around the way. So I, called my boys from around the way. So I tried to commingle like my law school friends and my boys from around the way. And that shit was like, that shit was like oil and water, not oil and vinegar. Oil and vinegar go together. It was like oil and water. So that's one of the things that I have to realize as I'm going through this whole finance journey, trying to get things in order with my finances. I have to understand that I can have certain conversations with certain people and certain conversations. Like, I have some friends where I can sit down and talk about, like, hey, I think I want to save this amount of money because I think I want to try to buy this small 4 unit building in South Carolina. It's real cheap. If I save this much up, I'll have 20% of the down payment. I think it could be a good deal. I have a group of friends who I could talk to about that stuff because they on the same stuff. But I got another group of friends where I'm not talking to them about that because, one, I don't want to take it as being, I don't know, arrogant or bragging on one thing that I got. But the other thing I got to realize is that, that's not what I talk to that friend group of people about. And that friend group, they aren't going to talk to me about crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Most of my friends be like, what? You attorney for the government? They be cautious of what they say around me when let me go around the way. Like, I'm going over my mother's house in the morning to help with her yard, do her yard, me and my son. Let me run into somebody man, please. They be talking on eggshells. Like, it's kind of crazy, but they do. Oh yeah, wall to wall counselor to get you a nice pay reduction. Well, in the military, they say the fastest way to make rank in the military is to get demoted. If you get demoted from sergeant to private first class, you're probably going to end up being a master sergeant in no time. That was the old saying. Yeah. Yeah, but that's it. Next week is going to be an interesting week, though. I thought I wanted to talk about it, but I'm gonna have a conversation. I really like conversations when I can get like a lot of other professionals on. Or I'm gonna have a conversation with a brother who is a CPA, and this brother actually has created an exchange traded fund that is on sale. You can actually go onto the stock market and invest in it. And it's dope. It's going to be an attorney and a certified financial planner talking about finances, talking about some crazy ass scams we've seen out there. And it's going to be a dope thing. So I got a couple of shows coming. I think that's the week after the next. I also got another show I'm going to do. It's going to be about minimalism. It's going to be about minimalism, debt-free journey, and the rules to getting flued out. Now, I know y'all probably thinking, what the hell is flued out? But see, y'all ladies, y'all know what flued out. Ladies, have y'all ever been flued out? Y'all know what flued out is, right? This particular guest is what you would call a minimalist, but she's made a comment in one of her videos, and based on the video I saw, I had a conversation. I was like, man, I saw a video, and I think she'll be good at talking about this topic of financial responsibilities when you get flued out. Be you a man or a woman? Yeah, I'm pocket watching. Yeah, man. But yeah, that's my show, man. JT, that's my boy. Salute to him, man. Me and him gonna link up, and I'm gonna probably be on this show sometime soon. But yeah, he got a good show over there. But yeah, this sister I'm gonna have her on because we're gonna talk about the financial obligations and rules to when people get flued out. Now I tell you, I never been flued out. I don't know if that's a thing that normally happens to women, but I tell you, I want to be flued out. I want my wife to go somewhere right now before me and then pay to fly me out there just so I could check off on my list that a woman flew me out somewhere. That's crazy. Flued out. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's not flown out. It's called flued out, right? I gotta. Okay. Okay. Hey, I'm going to assume, Twan, I'm going to assume, brother, that, y'all already have communicated this. Y'all already know that that's on the up and up. Because sometimes, I'm not saying in your situation, but sometimes there are assumptions out there. And I say this because I saw a video, and it was a video where I guess a brother was like dropping this girl off at the airport. And she was like, what's my confirmation number? He was like, it ain't no confirmation number. And so, that poor sister was just out there, no confirmation number, no way to get home. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I was like, who the hell is Wolverine 1782? Man, you gotta let me know, man. Because it's certain shit that I talk to you, but I can't talk to everybody because now. Hold on. What? There's nothing wrong with getting flued out. All I'm saying is expectations on getting flued out have to be clearly established. I'll tell you right now, like 20-year-old me, no, ladies, yeah, y'all wouldn't want 21-year-old debt-free dad flying you out nowhere, no. Because yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not even gonna say anything. But yeah, yeah, getting flu. Yeah, hey, I see. I'm not the only one who saw that video. Yeah, the dude expressly said there's no confirmation number. He said there's no confirmation number because you didn't want to give me any buns. We'll use the word that Brother Wolverine put on the screen, buns. And so the question came up is like, like if you flying somebody out, don't y'all talk about this shit first? Like, I don't know. If like again, I feel bad because I've never been flued out. But I'm assuming that if I were to get flued out by a young lady, I think the first step to getting flued out is make sure if shit go wrong, I could get flued in back home. Because if you get flued out and shit don't go wrong, shit don't go right, it's gonna be terrible, man. Hey Wolverine, you know the story I gotta tell too, man. I want to tell it now, but I'm gonna say that story till I got my guest on. Yeah. Hey Twan, you gonna have to do something strange for some change, man. She said free. It ain't nothing in this world that's free, brother. I'm telling you right now, man. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, what y'all sleeping arrangement looking like? Oh man, this show this show kind of got out of hand quick. But that's my thing. If you getting flued out somewhere, if I'm getting flued out, I got to make sure I got enough bread to where I could get a hotel, where I could get flued in back home, just in case things don't go right. I can't go out somewhere and be at your whim. Like, nah, just because I don't want to give up. Hey, I don't want to be a piece of meat, Like, yeah, so, hey, Twan, make that trip to Vietnam, brother. I'm sure y'all already discussed everything and y'all set up the parameters of the trips and everything like that. But, it's always good to make sure you got money just in case something crazy happens. You know what I'm saying? Something crazy happened. You don't want to be just out there looking crazy. She didn't know what she was doing. I would like to think, because, I mean, this is just my view. I would like to think, and I would raise my daughter like this. Generally, hey, I don't think most people in this world are worth a damn, but unfortunately, most guys ain't worth shit. So my view is I'm going to tell my daughter, hey, when you operate, just operate on the assumption that not all, but most guys ain't worth a damn. Most people in this world ain't worth a damn. So like, hey, if you getting flued out, I don't know. I feel like there had to be some conversation to establish the parameters. How you get flued out, you don't want to give up any buns, and the next thing you know, you stuck at the airport. That's the dumbest shit ever. I would be so disappointed. Lord forbid, nah. I would like to think that, people aren't that stupid in general, but clearly people are that stupid. It don't make any sense. I know, man. I don't know. It's like those eco-friendly straws. You know those eco-friendly straws? They start out real strong, but after about 30 minutes, they soggy as hell. It just kind of go wild. But all right, I'm gonna get back on the subject and close this out. But next week we're gonna have a couple of finance-related shows, but they're gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna have a guest on Friday. I'm gonna have a guest on Saturday, and then that weekend after, I'm gonna have a CP, certified financial planner, on, and we're gonna have some real deep conversation, and hopefully that shit don't dissolve. I got to try to maintain my professionalism on that one. I don't want the brother Nat to come back on my show, but hey, I appreciate all. That'd be an international crisis, man. If you get flued out, then you get put out in the same thing. Yeah. No, I'm sure this brother, I'm sure he ain't going to Vietnam with somebody he just met. They probably knew each other, had sufficient conversations, and like I said, I'm pretty sure he got his ducks in a row, because I'm telling you right now, if somebody say, hey, I'm flying you out to Vietnam, I go. If somebody say I'm flying you out to Vietnam right now, I'm like, sister, you want to fly me out to Vietnam? Can I bring my wife? I'll take a trip to Vietnam. Like, hey, and if we get out there, I get flued out and I pay for everything else to come back on my own, just in case they want us to do something strange for some change. Hey, but that's it for this video. I always got to edit the end of these videos. They just turn into a shit show at the end. I appreciate all y'all tuning in. Y'all got the power to break those generational curses. Oh, we definitely gonna talk. See, this is why the show dissolves at the end, because y'all just be encouraging my tomfoolery, and I love that shit. I'm like, I'm gonna ask some real professional. As a certified financial planner, how would you advise someone to budget and plan fiscally to get flued out just in case they decided or elected not to give up the buns and they didn't have proper accommodations to get back home? You see how I said that? I'm gonna maintain the professional structural integrity on that interview as I ask serious. Oh man, y'all wow, man. Hey, I'm gonna jump off this show. I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. I love y'all. Thanks for being patient with me when things are a little rocky on the front end. Y'all be blessed. Have a good weekend. Peace.